Hello, Internet. This is Whispering Whim, bringing you yet another grocery haul today. And as you might be able to notice from the fact that I didn't close my blinds, it is late at night, 10 o'clock on a Friday to be specific. But this is in the hopes that I can just barely post the video on time. My regulars know, my friends know, that I post one grocery haul every month, and this month ran away. It dug out underneath the fence and just took off for the woods. I got COVID at the beginning of the month, and that lasted nearly 2 weeks. It's a long time to be sick. And during that time, I had to reschedule a surgery that I needed to do. So I got just healthy enough to do the surgery, right? And surgery went fine. And I got sick after the surgery. So yeah, it's been tricky because I haven't been able to leave the house for almost the entire month. All right, but I did leave today. I'm in the clear for the most part. Still a little bit of a sore throat, so I hope that's not too raspy today. But we've got some groceries, and first up is some saltine crackers here. These are the fresh stacks, so they're kind of smaller packages, which is good because they're closer to what a serving size should be. And when I open up saltines, one of two things happens. I eat the whole sleeve, right? Because it's just like nom 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 mode. Or I eat like 2 crackers and then the rest of the sleeve gets stale. So having the short stacks helps with both of those problems. Next up, we've got a very crunchy bag here, and that would be some seaweed snacks. Good old-fashioned seaweed snacks. I love these. And I did not eat very healthy this past month. You know, being sick, and I'm the main maker of food and buyer of food and etc. I was well fed, but I ate a lot of processed foods and need to have some more vegetables in my life. So here's a nice little easy snack for me. And then we've got some penne pasta. I'll be making 2 penne dishes this month. And actually, since I can, I have been kind of meal planning a little bit more lately. So I know what I'm going to make with pretty much everything in here. I usually know, but I usually figure it out at the grocery store, but not this time around. So the meals as planned are some chicken and beets, which I already have beets from a previous shopping trip, some curry, some fried rice. And the fun thing about fried rice is it works better with leftover rice. So have curry early in the week and then have fried rice later on with the leftover rice. Some good old spaghetti, some stuffed bell peppers, blackened chicken penne, Sicilian penne, which is kind of just a creamy, lemony kind of a dish, and then just some broccoli and chicken. I think the biggest boon to having a list like that, because I'll write out the meals and then obviously I add the ingredients to a separate list so I can go grocery shopping. But the biggest boon is less waste on vegetables. Because when I'm in the produce section, for some reason, I just want to buy all the vegetables. And then, as life goes on, I tend not to cook all of the vegetables. So it's kind of sad when that goes to waste. Okay. Anyways, next up is some sweet chili sauce, Thai chili sauce. I hope this tastes as good as the one I remember. The meal kit that I use had a coconut chicken in it last week, 2 weeks ago. I don't know. I don't normally get it every week, but I got it a lot this past month to replace the fact that I couldn't go grocery shopping. But it had a coconut breaded chicken, and the dipping sauce was a sweet chili sauce. And for me, it's really nostalgic. It reminds me of college. Our cafeteria always kept a bottle of this stuff. And my husband ended up liking the one that was in the meal kit, but it was just like, a squeezy bag. No brand name or anything. So I'm hoping that's the legit one, or it looks like the one I remember. So, anyways, moving right along, we've got some nice lemons, and I think we're far enough in now that I can ask a question. Because I think at this point, anybody who, this is their first time clicking on one of my videos, they probably clicked off if they don't like it. But for all of my friends that have been here for a while, I have a question. Now, the style that I try to emulate with my ASMR videos is the so-called unintentional style, meaning that I'm just talking to you, we're friends, we're hanging out in my kitchen, I'm telling you about the food I'm making, and then there's an accidental crinkle here and there, or a thud, or a tap, right? And I think most people who started listening to me have found me because they were looking for a calming ASMR type deal. But I, of course, as with any video, eventually you get a negative comment or two. And I had someone tell me that my videos are not ASMR, which, who knows? I mean, it kind of depends on where you define it. And I told him the same thing about unintentional ASMR, such as Bob Ross is a very famous example, right? He's very soft-spoken, but people get all kind of, relaxed, but also into it because of like the brush strokes and him cleaning the brush when it goes blah, 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 right? So that's a great example of truly unintentional ASMR. I'm doing a fake or an homage to natural ASMR, or unintentional rather. I guess you could use both terms. That was spaghetti, by the way, spaghetti noodles. But anyways, that's a long way of saying, do you think I should take off the ASMR label? Because I don't even mind anymore. I have a lot of regulars, and that's who I make the videos for, and, I'm never going to monetize the channel. Well, never say never, but I have no plans on monetizing the channel. So, I could drop all the keywords and, not reach any new audiences. Anyways, let me know down in the comments, A, if you found this because you were looking for ASMR, and B, if you think it counts as ASMR. I'm kind of curious to what all my friends say. Because at this point, I have a lot of internet friends that I met through the videos. Okay. Now, moving right along, we have some bell peppers. I'm going to do some stuffed bell peppers for one of my dinners, as you heard from the list earlier. I don't know if I need to say that list in the beginning. It's going to make some of the things I say afterwards kind of redundant. And finishing out that bag is one more bell pepper. This is in a yellow bell pepper. I'm still making the noodle pasta salads. There we go. And considering I haven't had nearly enough vegetables this past month, a pasta salad is in order, because when I make mine, they're usually more vegetable than they are pasta. So yeah, bell pepper for pasta salad so that I make it the other. Oh, yes, the other thing. Because last time I told you about pasta salads, I was like looking at Italian dressings and trying to figure that out. And lo and behold, I actually found the Olive Garden Italian dressing at my regular store, but it was on the bottom shelf. And Olive Garden, I guess I could see why it wouldn't be a big deal as a prepackaged dressing, but it seemed name brand enough that it should have been higher. So I put that in my last pasta salad alongside a pack of mix from the Suddenly Salad box because I wanted to try both. And I think I like the Olive Garden dressing, but it misses a few marks. So I'll probably use it as a base and tweak it with some more herbs and spices and more oil, I think, on my own. Okay. Anyways, next up we have some pepper jack Cheez-Its. These are for my guy's lunches. Give him a little bit of variety. And then, don't fall. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna try to fall anyways. We have some Kingsford garlic and herbs all-purpose seasoning, rustic Tuscan style. And I really love this stuff. And interestingly enough, I got some, let's see, where are you? There you are. Some more legitimate Tuscan spice. And I was like, oh, this is going to be even better than this, right? Because this is from a spice shop here in town that's just wall-to-wall spices. It's amazing. I love going there. And I put this on something, and then I realized, I re-looked at it, and yeah, there's fennel seed in here, which maybe that's traditional. It's not in this one at all. But fennel seed, for those who have never heard of it or encountered it, it basically has a very similar taste to black licorice, to anise. And I don't mind black licorice, but I don't like it in savory dishes. And my guy definitely doesn't like black licorice, so this is like $4 of spice that we'll probably never use again. I used it once and was like, oh no. No. Okay. Next up, we've got not one, but 2 cans of chili. This has been one of my guilty pleasures while I've been sick / recovering / sick again. I don't know why, but this is the brand I grew up with. This is what my dad always bought for him to have as like a random dinner lunch thing, and I always stole them when I could. But it's just, I make chili, but I make chili that's very different from this. It usually has more tomato and fiber, I guess, in it. But I don't know. I don't know if it's the nostalgia factor or if it was just the ease, but I was obsessed with chili this whole month. And the problem with that is that I really should only eat like 3/4 of a can. Like half a can seems too small. 3/4 of a can would be ideal. But I always have like that little bit left over in my bowl. And I'm like, I'll power through that. I'll just eat the rest of it. And then I make my tummy sick. Because A, high fiber can be a little rough on your stomach, and B, any sort of spice, even if you can take it heat-wise in your mouth, it still has an effect on your stomach. So I got more of this, but I'm going to try to promise myself I won't eat it all at once. Maybe I'll use my saltine crackers as like a filler and have just half a can at a time. I don't know. I'll figure it out, hopefully. Next up, some hydrogen peroxide. This is my cleaning agent of choice for my retainer. And it's also very good for if you have certain soil infections in your plants, in your house plants. If you dilute it, I don't remember the ratio. I think it's 1 part peroxide to 4 parts water, but Google it yourself. If you mix that together and you put it in the soil where you have like soil gnats and some fungal infections or whatnot, it is just strong enough to kind of annoy them. But just like on your own skin, it might bubble and kind of burn off a few cells, but overall it leaves the root system intact for your plants. So it's very useful. I very, very rarely use it as a first aid thing. I find it to be a bit too harsh. And a lot of modern things that I've read say that hydrogen peroxide isn't the ideal antibiotic, I guess, antibacterial. It's not ideal because it does actually attack your skin as well. It's just that you have so much more skin. Okay. We have some good old-fashioned mayonnaise. That is for tuna salads. Been eating some tuna fish, although not as much tuna fish as chili. And we have some good old zesty dill spears. Another little vegetable addition, side dish for our upcoming meals. Got a can of split pea and ham and bacon soup. This is kind of just a just in case kind of a thing. I had some in the cupboard while I was sick and I ate it, and therefore it fulfilled its purpose. So who knows how long the next can will sit around, but I'm sure it'll get used eventually. And then this is some shallot. I think I'm going to put shallot in my fried rice this time. Been kind of curious since it borderlines, garlicky flavors and oniony flavors. I want to try it in the stir fry. Or not stir fry, fried rice, which are different things. Okay. And then some good old classic vegetable cooking oil. And I had to replace this because I made a whole bunch of Pajon not too long ago. And that is a Korean savory potato pancake type dish. And they, you should have like an inch of oil in your pan so that they fully submerge themselves. But the cooking time to go through a whole batch of the stuff is long enough that the oil is, at max temperature for, let's say an hour. Might be even a little longer than that. And they do say that once the oil's been heated for a while, you should toss it even if it's not burnt or smelly or anything. I guess the acid chains in it break down under long-term exposure to heat, so I had to go and replace all of my vegetable oil. Okay. Next up, we've got some good old bread. That's pretty self-explanatory, right? And then I have some Italian seasoning, which should taste different from this garlic and herbs Tuscan seasoning. Now, Tuscany, Italy, very similar overall flavor profiles, but there are differences. I mean, otherwise you would just call anything Tuscan Italian, right? So I haven't tried these side by side, but that is one of my goals, and to kind of fine-tune a few of the dishes that I make by using whichever one is more appropriate. Got some black olives. That's for my pasta salad. And some avocado oil. As you know, that's my preferred cooking oil is avocado. It's a little more flavor neutral than olive oil, and it has a better smoke point. It has a higher smoke point. So olive oil still has its place. Sometimes I like the olivey taste, right? Because now I can really taste olive oil since I've switched to more neutral oils. But avocado is definitely my preferred sauteing slash frying type oil. And then we're already on our final dry goods bag. And this was a bit smaller than my average grocery haul. See, being sick slash ordering lots of meal kits. But that's okay. This should be enough for a mostly satisfying video, and it also means that I will have a reason to go grocery shopping when next month happens in like a week. I'll probably take a longer than a week to make the next video, but I think you get my point. We have some Gushers tropical flavor. This is another dessert type item for my guy's lunches. I thought about getting him the mint Oreos, and I didn't want to get him too many sweets. He still has some Scooby snacks that I haven't completely fed him yet. I got the Gushers and actually forgot about the Oreos, so I'd like to say that I made a decision, but really I probably would have gotten both if I had remembered. All right. And then I have not one, but two jars of marinara. One of them is for the spaghetti, and one of them is to top the stuffed bell peppers. I like to add a little bit of marinara to the top. And then we have two flavors. We've got fired roasted tomato and garlic and traditional sweet basil. I think I like both of the flavors, and I'm not sure which one I like more. I usually get the garlic one more often, so maybe I like that one better. But I think I get it more often just because I gravitate towards less sweet on everything. You know, less sweet marinara, less sweet desserts. I mean, sugar has a time and a place, but overall I think, and many foreigners would agree, that American cuisine has a bit too much sugar in it. And my belly would also agree with that. Okay. Speaking of sugar, although slightly approved sugar, these are some more fruit bars. This is kind of like fruit leather, right? Except for it's in a bar form instead of a sheet. They're very tasty, and this is now my favorite thing to put in my purse as a just-in-case item. Because, you know, life happens and you get hungry, you can't eat right away. What's better? You eat a little fruit bar that you have in your purse, or you succumb to going to McDonald's, right? So I love those for that purpose, but I eat them at home quite a bit too. And then, next up, we've got some toothpaste. Good old Arm & Hammer toothpaste. My hygienist made me switch to Arm & Hammer a while back. Apparently it's a lot more gentle on your tooth enamel than most toothpastes, and you know, it has the benefit of being like $2 cheaper a tube compared to the brand that I used to buy. So I think sometimes I miss the flavor of the other brand a little bit. I don't know, it felt more minty and fresh, but this stuff works. It's fine. All right, got some nuts for my guy's lunches, and this is a chili lime flavor. Probably won't satisfy his need for heat, but at least be something. I've been adding more and more nuts to his lunches to kind of give him some more protein. He's often really hungry by the time he gets home, and you know, if he doesn't have to go hungry, if I add more protein, then so be it. We'll try to do that. And then next up we have some cough drops, which honestly I feel like I could use some right now. But I don't like the cough drop noise when that's in like a video. I don't like it. So I won't subject you guys to that unless an overwhelming amount of you like that. Who knows? Tell me. But we've got two different flavors. So I've been sick a lot, but the first time I got sick, when I had COVID, my husband also got sick and he got better, but he still has a bit of an itchy throat. And I had this brand at home, but only like a small pack of it, not a whole bag. And he went through my like little sleeve of them. And I bought some replacement ones, but they were ginger flavor instead of, this one is menthol and honey. And he's not a ginger fan. So it's like, okay, I can get some non-ginger ones. And I was looking at the options, and they have this one, which is in my head canon, the original flavor. But they also had honey, lemon, menthol, and eucalyptus. And I'm like, ooh, does lemon make it better or worse? So I'm going to give him the option of whichever one he wants. And he can just keep that by his desk and use it as needed. Because, you know, I stock the medicine cabinet with cough drops. And he still asks me if there are cough drops. So he might as well have his own supply where it's easily accessible. And, you know, I'll take whichever flavor he doesn't want. So it all works out in the end. I'm sure both flavors will be fine. Next up, some Better Than Bouillon. This is just general good to have. I ran out of my last jar, especially with all the sore throats that have been going around. I find that tea isn't that soothing for me on my throat, mostly because I don't like sweet things, so I don't put honey in my tea. But bouillon, or broth rather, pretty good. Now, just plain bouillon is a step down. My preference would be beef broth, or not beef broth, bone broth. And I can make bone broth on my own, and I have some plans too. But, you know, in a pinch, you can buy it, but it's like $3 for a little thing this big. And if you get the good brand, it's $5 for a thing like that big. So, yeah, I bought some commercial bone broth right before my surgery, because 3 hours before your surgery, or like, what was it? At midnight the night before, I had to quit eating solids. And then I could have clear liquids until 3 hours before my surgery. And clear liquids include broth of any sort. It includes bone broth. And for me, that's like, was the most hearty, you know, option, because bone broth has protein, it has fat. It's, you know, very close to being a meal on its own. So I had one of those before the surgery, and then I wish I had more because even though it was expensive, it was really tasty. So I'm going to make some. Anyways, moving on. Finishing off that bag is some nut packs. This is just a fun little add-on thing to make my guys' lunches more interesting. We've got two flavors here today. We've got hot honey walnuts. Yum, I think. And then we have pecan pie flavored pecans. Wow, I said it both ways. Pecan and pecan in that sentence. I might steal this one for myself. I'm very curious. I do actually, it's funny. You'd think I'd hate pecan pie. Pecan. Now I'm really in my own head about this. I love it. And you'd think I would hate it because it's one of the sweetest pies out there. It's like pure sugar in between those nuts. But I don't know. I've always liked pecan pie. So I'm really curious what these taste like, and I might eat them for myself. And then as far as if you're like sitting somewhere across the ocean from me and wondering why I keep going back and forth between pecan and pecan, I lived on the West Coast, so pecan is the way that a lot of West Coast people say that nut. If you're in the Midwest, though, it's pecan pie. And then working, because I worked as a baker, pastry cook, for what, eight or so years, something like that. I found that it's quite polarizing how you say it, and now I say it both ways, like fluently, and that is actually worse than just sticking to one, because now I get to offend both groups. But yeah, pecan, they're both nuts, the same nut. And now it's time for the cooler bag. All of my refrigerator items fit in one bag today, and surprisingly enough, the bag also fit into my fridge. But, it was a smaller than average grocery haul. The price wasn't smaller than average. It's like $200 for everything today. But as you'll see as we go along, there were a few impulse buys here and there. Okay. We got some cubed cheese. This was impulse buy number 1, actually. Normally my guy has string cheese in his lunch, and that's the cheese of choice most of the time. But I saw these sitting there in the case, and I was like, I could go for some cubes of cheese. So I got Colby Jack and Pepper Jack, because I like Jack cheeses a lot. More than cheddar, actually. Way more than cheddar. And then we have some chives. I think this is for the Sicilian style penne. Could be wrong. And I was surprised. I thought at the store that I shopped at, I could get this in bigger regular people things, but this was in the organic section, and it was the only ones they had, so I got them. I mean, it was only like $2 for the little bin, but I was expecting to buy like a whole bunch for $2. And then we have some kombucha. It's been a while, quite a while, since I've bought any, mostly because it's pretty expensive. I used to get it for about $3, maybe a little less than $3 a bottle, and now it's over $4 a bottle. But I figured with all the torture I've been putting my GI tract in lately, it probably needed a little bit something extra. I don't eat a lot of fermented foods. I like sour cream and Greek yogurt, but like kimchi and things like that, I'm kind of like, on. So this is just a way to get some microbes back into my system, because I don't know, I feel like I could use them. And then we've got some baby Bella mushrooms, little portobello mushrooms. And then we've got good old cucumber. That's for my pasta salad. And then I ended up getting some of those really low quality deli meats that I love. Only 2 packages though, so I won't be super bad. I don't know what it is about these. They're awful. They're more salt than meat, I think. But man, they hit the spot every once in a while. Got some Parmesan cheese for all these pasta dishes that are coming up. Can't go wrong with good old Parmesan. And then next up we have, oh, that's a familiar feeling, some good old eggs. That'll be for the fried rice and for the stuffed bell pepper. And we got some whole carrots. I made the very big debate on whether to get baby carrots or whole. Whole carrots are a little cheaper and they do last a little bit longer than baby carrots, but usually I get baby carrots because whole carrots are just so much effort. But I was trying to save a few cents here and there, which I'm glad I saved a few cents because, like I said, it cost like $200 to go shopping today. And part of that total was 2 things of ground beef, one for spaghetti and one for stuffed bell peppers. And then we have, I'm just like playing around here. Okay, we've got green onions or spring onions, depending on, or what else? What is the other one? Scallions. There we go. Lots of names for these guys, but little onions. Those have lots of uses, so I don't remember exactly which dishes they're for, but I'm sure they're for lots of them. And then here, this is a guilty pleasure. This added $4 to my bill today. And that is some good old prosciutto. Man, I don't know what it is about this stuff. Like, bacon's fine. I don't really care for pork chops. Not a big pork person. But prosciutto? I will eat a lot of prosciutto in one setting. Like, at Sam's Club, you can get a huge pack. It's probably like 2 pounds of the stuff. Huge. This is only 3 ounces for perspective. So like, you know, so many servings. It's supposed to be so many servings. And I'll go through it in like 3 days and be like, maybe I shouldn't buy myself any more prosciutto because I just eat it. Now, next up is, this was in the salsa section. This is Griot's pickles pickle de gallo, pickles salsa. And I am very curious because, you know, looking at that, I'm like, okay, that's just relish, right? That's just relish. So I don't know if calling it a pickle salsa is just a marketing ploy or if it's different from relish. I feel like I'm going to solve that mystery right now. I can't help myself. I'm going to find out. Ooh, that's a very, very potent plastic. There we go. It smells very pickly, although it doesn't have a dill note to it. I don't think there was any dill in the, cucumbers, brine, white vinegar, salt, yellow onion, red bell pepper, garlic. Yeah, no, this is just going to be a relish. It's going to be a non-dill flavored relish, but that's okay. Come to me, spoon that's hidden by my stand for all this stuff. Goodness, that was way more effort than it was worth. Okay. Pickle salsa. Okay. It is essentially a different flavor of relish. There's no getting away from the fact that tiny pieces of pickle is pickle relish. That being said, it is different, a different flavor profile from the relish that I normally use for, making a tuna salad. This is a lot more bright. Like I said, it doesn't have that dill note. And the bell pepper comes through almost as like a peppery pepper, which bell pepper is not peppery. It has 0 capsaicin. It's a 0 on the Scoville scale. But it kind of, yeah, it hints at a salsa flavor more than a relish does typically. And I like it. And, if it's another way to eat my vegetables, then I'm going to do it. I have no direct plans on what I was going to put it for. Like on the little side thing, it says chips, tacos, barbecue, burgers, hot dogs, sandwiches, nachos, deviled eggs, tostadas, oysters, crab cakes, or really anything. So I'm just going to try it on stuff and see what happens, but I do like it. Like, is it not relish? It is relish, but it is different as well, if that makes any sense. Actually, not moving along. I am now wondering if saltine cracker plus prosciutto plus pickle salsa, let's call it by the name it gives itself, would not actually be would be a really tasty snack. Like, I gotta wrap up this video because my husband is out playing with his friends, but I made him stay out later than he intended to so that I could get through and do this video. So I gotta move along. But that might be really tasty. I could even add some of the green onion to it too. Oh, that sounds decadent, actually. Okay. If I remember to report back, I will, but I probably won't remember. Unless it becomes a regular thing I eat. Which does happen sometimes. Next up, we have some pepperoni minis. So when I make the pasta salad, I am content with the vegetables and pasta. But for my guy, it really, really improves the experience if he has little tiny pepperonis in his pasta salad. So I obliged and got him pepperonis. So that was another $4 extravagance. And we're finally at the end of the bag. And that is a giant thing of bacon. We go through so much bacon in this household. So this is $21.07 worth of bacon. And it is total 2.640 pounds. So, roughly enough for 2 weekends. But at least it's not those little odds and end pieces thing. I didn't want to do that again. Not so soon. I'm traumatized. And that was our whole cooler bag. Since it was a smaller trip, I did save my freezer bag, but they're usually very small. We don't buy a lot of freezer stuff. In fact, I have the problem that our freezer is mostly filled with things like vegetable scraps, because I'm going to turn it into a broth later on. So it's full of food that either I have prepared or will prepare. So not a lot of pre-made, but we need a few, because the things that were in there I ate while I was sick. There was 2 TV dinners and some stir-fried rice and some frozen hot dogs, like coney dogs. Anyways, I ate it all. So to replace it, I got some French bread pizzas. Good in the toaster oven, right? Some rice veggies, because I'm really going to try to eat some vegetables here soon. And last but not least, some Jimmy Dean stuffed hash browns. These are garbage food. I'm going to admit to you right now. It's potatoes and oil. There's a lot of grease in it. And some very subpar meats in a cheese sauce. And gosh darn it, they're tasty. But I bite into them and I know this is not healthy. This is nowhere near what healthy tastes like. But I get them. Because, yeah, I get them. Anyways, that is the grocery shopping for today. I'll go ahead and do some shout outs next. Alright, so for shout out, the first one is in one of those negative comments. They're not negative. It's just, no offense, this is not whispering, is what they said, which is the second I've gotten lately along those lines. I think people get confused because the username I use is Whispering Whim, and I did used to do a lot more whisper videos, but they're very rough on your throat. Like, really, really rough. And I already have a lot of throat trouble, so I haven't been whispering in a long time. I might do a whispering video here and there, but anyways. So I'll reply to that person individually. I don't need to publicly shame them or anything. They're just stating a fact, which is true. But here's a really positive one from PJL. Oh my dear, you have the voice. So soothing and mellow. You seriously should do radio. I'm so glad YouTube sent your video my way. I subbed right away and plan to binge watch the rest of your videos. I really appreciate your use of the King's English. So well spoken. Oh. This is my first time reading this comment. I don't, you, you guys know, I like religiously look at my comments for like the first week after I post a video, and then it all goes to heck in a handbasket. Looking forward to getting to know you better. My name is Pam, and I'm from New England. So nice to meet you. That's so sweet. I love it. We have some X7UD. That's probably not how they pronounce that username, but that's a lovely comment there too. And then some regulars like Lacey, Dulce Crystal. And we have Ann Field, another one of those people who are like, you don't whisper, which I'm soft spoken, but that's fine. I thought you said Worcestershire, or however you spell it the first way you said it. This is from Deanna. And she has a whole comment about how Guy Fieri always has a field day with that. Some southern dude called it wash your sister. Like wash. That's funny. So thank you. Thank you, everybody. You're so sweet for commenting. And even the people who've made negative comments, they're not really being mean about it. They're looking for something specific and I didn't deliver. That happens sometimes. You can't please them all, right? But I hope if you have lasted this long, that at least you and I were on the same page, right? I hope. And even if we're not, my secondary hope, or my bigger hope, is that you have a wonderful evening and that you sleep well tonight. All right? Just for me, sweet dreams. Nighty night.